Hi, my name is Pete, and I'm going to show you how to change oil and a fuel filter in a 2016 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van 2500 with a 2.1 liter engine. You can walk this way. I'm going to show you the parts you're going to need. Always have a drop light so you can see what you're working at. Okay, so you'll need a fuel filter, and this is a fuel filter number off eBay. Then you'll need a oil filter. That's the oil filter number. And then you need 10 quarts of oil, which all this stuff came off eBay. And then as far as for tools, you will need, I think this is a 72 millimeter or 74 millimeter oil filter wrench. You'll need a 13 to release the oil, and you'll need a regular screwdriver to take off the hose clamps. So let's get started. I'm going to take this and I'm going to show you where it's at. Okay, so we are under the van, and there is the drain plug. So we're going to go ahead and release the oil. And we're just going to let this go. It's going to be pretty dirty, so okay, so here we go. So it's draining into, I think this is like a 3-gallon container. So while that's draining, I'm going to go back up top and release the filter here so we can start it draining. And just for 1 second, hang on, I gotta go grab some rags. Come back, rags. See, this shows you I don't know what I'm doing. So we need to take off this air, where the air filter's at. So you can come here. Let me get this light turned on because I know sometimes you can't see real great. Okay, so you have 2 plugs. You got a plug 1, plug 2, and then we have this clamp to take off. It should pop out. Okay, and see how this plug is on here? You don't want to be ripping no plugs out. So this one goes, so this plug's here, just like this, here and here. Okay. Then this is where your positive battery goes. This is gonna need to be popped up. And you just lift, there's a little thing under here, you just lift it up and you just pull this out. I'm gonna go to this side. And you're gonna have this oil, this is where you put your oil in, and you'll have another one of these little push-in things. You'll push it and you'll lift up, you move it out to the side. Now this thing should pop out. You know what, let me pop this out too, without breaking anything here. Okay, so this is another part. We'll just stick this in here. And then now we're gonna pop this off. And all these are, they're just on little rubber numbers. So see, that took the whole thing off, and that was just popped in. Okay, we're gonna put this off to the side. Then you'll have this engine cover. So this is the same thing as that air filter. It just pops on. So we're just gonna pop it off, move it out of the way. Okay, so right here is where you're gonna use the oil filter wrench. So this should fit directly on here like this, okay? And then here is your fuel filter. And let me put some light in there so you can see it. So you'll have the fuel filter here, and it has 2 hose clamps and 1 plug. And right here is your filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a towel and put it here. I don't like oil all over my stuff, so let's do that. I'm gonna pop this off real quick. Find a place to put the light. Okay, so we're gonna do reverse. Okay, should just be about there. This is where your oil filter's at. So I'm gonna lift this out. It should come out as one, and it does. Okay. So as you're seeing, don't let this freak you out. The oil filter's actually right here. So we're gonna end up pulling this off. Okay. So there's the oil filter. Well, that's the old one. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in here. And then There is some oil in here, so I'm going to do that while I open up this oil filter now. So now, I'm a first timer, don't laugh. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure it out together. So it looks like we're gonna have a couple O-rings and change. Looks like they're here on the top. So I'm gonna bring this to the ground. My lovely wife would come down the ground with me. And then we're gonna pop these off here. I guess I should have brought a little hook tool, but I'll grab the regular screwdriver. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this out. That's O-ring number 1. We'll just kind of lay them out here so we don't forget, even though they're different sizes. Whoops. Okay. O-ring number 2. Then we're gonna have one down here. I'll pop that guy off too. I'm gonna pop it off, and that's O-ring number 3. And looks like in the kit they gave us 3, so we're doing good. So far, so good. So let's do the backwards of what we did. Well, you know, I'm gonna wipe this some more here real quick. This down. I think this little bit of oil is gonna make a difference, but I like my stuff clean. So let's go back down here. This is the larger one, and it does have the O-ring where it fits into there. It looks like it might be in other places, but this is one place. I'm trying not to stretch it out too much. Nice and even. Okay. Now we're gonna go for the medium-sized one. And that'll go here. That guy's on. Then I'm gonna go in this last one here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil from here and right there, just a dab it, just to go around this O-ring, because I don't want it to hang up and get all twisted sister on us on the inside. So we're good there. Okay, now you just take, there's really no, it looks like there's no front and back, it's all the same. We're just gonna slide it over, push it down, and there you have it. Now your oil filter is changed. So if you can get a shot right here where it goes, it's gonna wipe a little bit here too. So it goes down right there. So I'm gonna put the oil filter back in. Just like that. See, it just kind of went right in. It's gonna, shouldn't be real hard to do as far as it going in. Don't cross thread anything. I'm gonna put our ratchet on reverse, and we're just putting it in there. It's nice and easy. We're just gonna snug it down. You don't ever want to over tighten anything because this is plastic. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a tighten there. Now I'm gonna show you how to change the fuel filter. Let me grab a screwdriver. Okay, so you're gonna have 2 clips right here on the side of this thing, which holds it in. And you're gonna pull this, I gotta grab this guy right here. So we're gonna pop these clips off. There's one. Okay, then you have one more a little farther down. That's 2. So that releases the fuel filter. So now it should be loose. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna press the release button on this plug here. Let's see, where's the back of the plug? Okay, looks like it goes here. Okay, I'm still not doing it. Maybe I have to take the screwdriver to it. Okay, there, that's where it's at. Okay. So it needs to be lifted, either be lifted up and then pushed out. There, that's pushed out. Now we have a hose clamp here. I'm gonna take out. Sorry, get my hands in the way here. And then we have another hose clamp right here. It needs to come out. It looks like this clamp is not doing good. It's gonna have to get us a new clamp, which I will have my lovely wife grab me one while I am putting this stuff back together. Okay, so there's your hoses that are loose now. So we should just pull out. Shouldn't be really hard. Oh, maybe it is. Hose clamp is loose. So let's get our, there we go. That looks like it just needed to be loosened up. Okay. We're gonna give it a little tug. Okay. And let's see, there's no fuel in there lying. Great. Okay. And this is the other one. So you know what? It may have to come out of this first. There we go. So just need to be pushed out there. Okay. A little bit of fuel, but we'll just stick it right here. Let it absorb it. Okay. This is the plug for it. We're just gonna pull the plug out of it. Now this thing should just pop right out. Okay, then we have one more area it's plugged into. I'm just gonna see this right here. Okay, so that's it. This is your fuel filter. I'm gonna set this in here. We're gonna grab the old, or the new one, I'm sorry. So it looks like it's a match. We're checking, we got that, and we're looking at the plug. Plug looks the same. Okay, I'm gonna pop your little protectors off. And we're just gonna do this in reverse now. Okay, I am not a professional. I do not have professional tools. I'm not claiming if you blow your van up, it's not my fault. I'm just showing you that you don't need to go to the dealership and spend $400 or $500 to get your oil change. You can do it yourself. For under 200, I think it's around 100 and I'm gonna say about 170 bucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this plug in first, and you heard it snap. Then I'm going to push it down, get it into place where these line up. I'm gonna put these clips, I'm snapping these clips back in place. So now the oil filter is in place. So we're gonna go ahead and put that guy back in, and then he has a little area that he gets into there. Put the hoses back where they belong. Oh, you know what? We need a new hose clamp for this one. But let me see if I can get this. Looks like this thing just backed out of here, so I might just be able to fit it back in there. It might work. Sure did. Okay. But why does it want it back out of there? Okay, I'm just gonna go grab a new hose clamp. So if you wanna look at my pretty wife or the pretty van, you can do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I found us a hose clamp. Looks like it's gonna work. Hopefully it's the right size. So we can get that over that. I was hoping it was the right size. Okay, so I got it over that. I'll get this guy into place. Oh yeah, it fits good. Okay. Get this thing pushed up. I want to get her tightened down. Yeah, you don't want to leave these loose. You definitely want to make sure you have the proper pounds of pressure going to your fuel. We're just getting them tightened up. And on this one, it takes it takes 12 quarts of oil. That's one clamp. And I don't even know how long it's been. Let me see, it's been 13 minutes. That's pretty good for someone that don't know what they're doing. So let's put that in place. Tighten this guy down. So I've had the dealership already do this once. That's why you have these clamps. But if this is stock and it's going to be your first oil change, you will have these clamps from factory that you'll have to cut off and just add these clamps are plenty strong enough. So I'm just making sure everything's tightened real tight. Okay, and then follow this hose here. Remember we took this hose off. It goes onto this hose right here. Plug that back in and it slides into this to hold itself in place. So that was the oil, that was the fuel filter change out. So we're good to go here. Everything looks in place, everything is tight and plugged in. Now we're just gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna go grab the engine cover and put that back on. Let's get this engine cover put on here. Oh, already did it backwards. See, told you I wasn't professional. Or is that still backwards? See, told you I wasn't professional. Oh, this has to be the front. Sorry. Yeah, because here's the hose right here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna find where the little snappy guys are at, and we're just gonna push down, push them down. They're all in place. It's all solid. Now we're gonna grab the air filter. probably should wipe this off, huh? Make it look a little better since I said I was picky about everything, right? Okay, so I'm going to put the air filter in. Now this has its own little thing it sits into. There's these little guys right here. You just set them, have like little arms in the back. Once they set into place and you have these little guys here, just pop down, look, how you like that? Your air filter's in. Now we're just gonna do the reverse. We're gonna push this air, so that, I guess this is where it gets air. We're gonna put the plug back in. We're going to put our clamp back on. Let's tighten this down real quick so I don't forget it. Thank you guys for watching too. This ain't gonna take very much longer. You save yourself a ton of money. Well, not a ton. I think oil changing these guys cost around $400. So at least half price doing it yourself. So let's see, this guy goes back down on here just like this. Snap into place. We're gonna plug this guy back in. He's plugged back in, and then we have the oil filler. Just lift that back up and snap it into place, and then we still have this little breather to put in. So we're just gonna do the reverse. So we're just gonna pop that guy in there. So he's popped into place. There's nothing out of place now. And here's our oil filler. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go down and make sure we're all drained. All the oil is drained. I'm gonna look down there right now, and looks like we're good to go. Okay, so here's your drain plug. We're gonna stick our drain plug back in. And remember, this is a 13 millimeter, and it should have, wait a minute, I better back this out, because it should have a copper should have a copper washer on it, so we don't have any leaks. And I'm gonna say it probably stayed on there. Let me make sure it's not here anywhere. Oh yeah, there it is, see? It's a copper ring. Don't forget to put that in, or else you will have a leak. So put that copper ring on there, fits nice and pretty. Stick it back in here. Do not cross thread. I'm sorry, I'm trying to put this in on the outside. I'm not down here. I'm on the outside of the van trying to do it. Okay, there we go. Make sure you take your oil to the proper station. Don't dig a hole and bury it like they did in the old days. So here is our 13. We just snug it up, never over tighten, especially when you have aluminum. There's no pressure down there, so we're good there. Make sure we don't have no leaks on our driveway road. And then we're gonna cap this off here. This is where the oil's at. No leaks. Plug that top. Put these rags over here. Okay. Now we need to add the oil. So I'm gonna come back up top. Wipe this down a little bit here too. Okay, here's where you fill the oil up. I like to wipe everything. Wipe it all out. And then we're gonna start refilling. So let's start with the big ones. These are the 5-quart gallons. They're not really gallons, they're just 5 quart. Oh, wait a minute. It helped if I opened it up right, wouldn't it? Okay, oh, that's nice. Never even seen these. That's good. No spills, huh? So for protection, let's just put this here. My wife will kill me if I get it all over our street. Okay, we're gonna start filling her up. Nice and pretty. That beats black, doesn't it? No messes, no messes. Then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to reset your mileage after you put the oil in. Okay, looks like she's doing good. She's almost done. Okay, there's 5 quarts. 7 more quarts to go. She's thirsty. Do one of the little ones here. This just goes to show anybody can do this. Yes, I am mechanically inclined. I do know some things, but there's only a couple places online that show you kind of sort of how to change the oil, but you really can't see. It's very dark, so I try to find a place where it's very bright outside where you can see what's going on here, especially when changing that fuel filter, because you don't want to damage anything or cut a wire when you're trying to cut those factory clamps off. So it looks like we have 7 quarts installed, down the last 5 quarts. This is a big one. Okay, let's get this last guy in. Just check for leaks, which I don't think we'll have any leaks, but we're going to check for leaks anyhow. Make sure that once your oil's in and van's running, that you have no leaks around your oil filter or down by your drain plug. And if you do, take it apart and fix it. Everybody knows these vans are not cheap. They're not cheap to work on, and that's why I decided to do my own oil changing at home instead of going to the dealership. It's not cheap. So we're almost done. And this is the oil I chose. You can get it on eBay, I think, for around $123. Or no, I'm sorry, $131.99, which will include the filter. So you can use whatever oil you choose, but this is the oil I chose. And I also will change I also always order an extra oil filter, and I'll change just the oil filter in between my oil changes because it gets so dirty. So I just like to keep my oil filter all changed out. So it'll get two oil filter changes per oil change. So wipe it off. I'm gonna look right here, make sure there's no leaks so far until we start it out. No, drain plug's fine, so I'm going to start it. There was a little bit of hesitation. That's because we just put a new fuel filter in, so it had to cycle through. I should have let it sit for a minute to go through, but as you can tell, it's all good. I don't see any fuel leaks. I don't see any oil leaks. You can see the drain plug leaking, so I'm just gonna let it go for a minute. Now I'm gonna come inside and I'm gonna show you guys how to reset your mileage, okay? So for this process to be done, we have to have the key on off first, and then we're going to pull it out, and then we're going to take the key and we're going to put the key back in the ignition. We're going to turn it to the on, and see all these lights? Let those all turn off. Once they turn off, the computer's cycled. We're going to press the O button. We're going to hold the O button down till it beeps, and it should take about 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, now that it's beep, we're going to press the M button, which is a top button, and we're going to cycle through. Let's see, get a little closer. Cycle through till we see reset 51. There's reset 31, so there's reset 51. Now we're going to press the O button down, and we're going to hold it so we see a 2. There should be a big 2 that shows up. Okay, release. Now press the O one more time kind of fast, and it should say done. Done. There, that's it. That's the conclusion of the video. 25 minutes to change your oil and your filter and your fuel filter.
I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Good luck.